Hi, we're somebody and we're watching
the Rip-Off
show.
That's the worst.
I'm Jason Gick, and tonight I'll be playing bass in the band Somebody.
I'm Corey Nallen, and I will be playing drums in the band Somebody.
So I'm Dave Larimore. I play guitar and also sing.
I'm Kid. I play percussion in Somebody. Congas, hand drums, stuff like that.
Matt Naylor. I play guitar, mostly, for the band called Somebody.
My name's Cass. I play drums at the end of Somebody.
The keyboard player for Somebody, and we are going to play tonight at Truffle Bluff, and it's going to be really fun. I'm playing for a bunch of friends, and hopefully we'll lay down some grooves. That doesn't sound too right.
And a love for colonial cabinetry. Most of the stuff was rather ornate. She didn't even own any dinner plate.
Well, we play a pretty wide variety of styles, from rock to, it's mostly, I would say jam band, space rock is where you go with it, but we play shuffle stuff, like bluesy stuff, and we play jazzy stuff and bluegrass, and we all have pretty wide eclectic taste in music, so we like to have that reflected in what we try to play.
I feel like there's colored lights right in my eyeballs.
What year was that? When did you join the band? Probably 94 with Corey. Back in the day, we were playing around in basements of Vincennes University. And
I was thinking about today, Vincennes is really
It goes back to me and Matt Naylor, the rhythm guitarist. We're both students at Vincennes University, and so was Jason Townsend, JT.
it was a lot of fun. Had a good time.
Jason and Corey and Matt were in the band together, you know, from the beginning.
And we kind of did the blues thing there.
We started writing originals, and somebody began to form when Corey and I met basically in the basement of Vincennes.
Blues ensemble. And then in '95, we were all kind of thinking about starting a project. And Matt knew Jason from Pendragon.
Jason and I played in a band called Pendragon for a while. We played in a band called Tender Mercy for a while. We were actually just like cover band. Raw!
Yeah, we played in like the high school, you know, rock bands, playing the whole cover thing and kind of learning songs when you're like 17, 18, you know. Then these guys, we all just graduated, kind of got out of college together all at the same time.
Yeah.
We were like, let's just go just to do a band. Let's just do
May
a
of
band.
'95 was our first practice in Brownsburg.
Brownsburg,
at
yeah.
Hemo's house. Hemo, Mike Himmelgarten. He was an original member.
Mike Himmelgarn was also in the band before I was in the band, but he didn't move out west with them. He was another guitar player.
And then it sounded pretty good. So we decided to move to Lafayette.
Had chemistry and yeah, started playing.
So it's you and it's Corey and Jason and Matt.
Mike Himmelgarten.
Right. And then like Kid and Dave Larimore were playing in separate groups that we were just playing around the same places here. And this is where I first saw Dave and Kid. And then
Well, what year did you join the band?
Yeah, I'm not good with math.
I want to say probably 92, 93, I'm not sure. I joined up with this cool band. I went to a couple parties out in Dayton and seen them play, and my buddy Dave Larimore and me were looking for some other stuff to do at the time. So I met up with these guys, started playing percussion, mentioned Dave, and me and him joined at the same time about then.
And Dave and Kid moved over from a band called Monkey Parade and kind of joined them.
Parade, yeah. I remember the band. But they, Kid convinced me at some point that he wanted to play with us. And then he also convinced, like, you gotta listen to this guy Dave's music. Just listen to his tape. And so we started listening to his tape. We were just like, oh yeah, I mean, it was just like you could tell, it's like, these are good songs. And those weren't even the songs like we played tonight that we wrote. Like, those were different songs. And we were like, damn, this guy just likes writing songs.
In the original group, I knew Kid. Kid and I had done some stuff on the side. I think he had gotten in touch with somebody, or he was already in them. I can't remember at the time. He was already with somebody. I guess they wanted another guitar player. I think maybe the other guy had left. So they told him about me. I was basically recording stuff on my own, just kind of in my bedroom at the time. So I had like a little demo tape, and they heard it, and they liked it.
Cool.
He was this, like, we just saw he had a batch of songs that were good, and we're just like, man, we need to, like, learn your songs and get them out there, and you're going to be part of somebody.
Heard me, and I came over to one of their practices, and that was basically it. It wasn't like a super involved audition or anything. It was just,
I mean, really, 95 to 99-ish, 98, so
Yep.
4 years before we made the move out there to just get out of town.
And you were called, during that 4 years, were you called somebody?
Yeah.
You were called
Always
somebody?
yeah.
Okay.
At the very beginning. We played out a lot. Like,
Preston's, River Styx.
yeah, those were like the clubs at the time for us, you know. And Charlie's, remember, there was one down in Purdue West.
Boiler Room.
Charlie's that we always played with. And,
Hideaway.
yeah, we played out a lot, like just in town, just trying to find your places to play, you know.
check. Since my homie really lost his leg. Forgot he was big. Many times he's a tender, but humble by me to swear
So why Arizona? Why was that the destination?
I think I had just gotten out of college. It was just, I don't know whose original idea it was, but I guess we felt the need to go somewhere, so I was along for the ride.
First off, why go to Arizona? Do you remember why that was the destination?
It wasn't, actually. There wasn't a real destination involved. We booked a lot of gigs, you know, and we went out and played those gigs. And
It was weird. We went to Telluride to play, and
That's right.
we took. I think we had like a week or a couple days in Telluride. Then we had a couple days off, and then we had to come back to Telluride. So we just said, well, let's go down to the Grand Canyon. So then we went to Phoenix, and I will never forget. We got there at midnight, and it was 112 degrees, and I was just like,
I do remember that.
I was like, this is.
There's no way I'm living in
this is
Phoenix,
the sun.
Arizona.
This is the
It's like
sun.
110 at like midnight.
Yeah, so we literally were like there for a couple hours, I think, and we left, and then we ended up in Flagstaff.
Yep.
And we were like, this is a pretty cool town.
Do you know why it was Arizona?
No.
Love it here. And literally, I think we left the bus there, and those guys went to the campground, and we hopped in a truck and came back, loaded it up, and got everyone else's car, and went back to Flagstaff, and was just like, we'll just live here for a year.
Flagstaff seemed like a really good place to centralize the operation.
We rented a place for, a year. It was a lease, so it's exactly a year.
How was the place? Tell us about that.
I don't know. There's things I miss about it, but at the time it was okay.
Max Cats. Playing keys. And then he kind of met everybody else and somebody, and then when JT had left the band, they snatched him up. But I think we actually kicked Max out of that band.
Let's see. Before I was in the band, there was a different keyboard player, but band. Then I joined the band in like '98. They called me in Lafayette. Their keyboard player just quit, and they asked me to drive out to Arizona. So I bought a Greyhound ticket and rode out there. I'm 21, and I got zero money. No place to stay, but we didn't need that because we slept in the bus. So I didn't have any money to eat.
I believe we already had the bus at the time, so yeah.
It's an RV technically, but yes, it was a green school bus, and that was pretty neat. You sleep on there. And
a nice little Wayne Lifeguard Chevy 84 school bus at the time, extended version.
we were there from July of '98 to June of '99.
Yep. So it just happened.
Speaking of buses, there's also the story of Ed, Ed was mentioned, but I believe,
Tell us the story.
I think he's from Texas, but we met him in Arizona.
Ed
From
Gorka.
Texas or something?
No, he was from Boston, actually.
Tell me.
He kind of hung out with us. He wasn't a musician as far as I remember, but he kind of ran sound for us and just kind of hung out with us.
Ed was a guy from Lowell, Massachusetts, which is right by Boston, who actually lived in Flagstaff, Arizona. And when Jason and I first like we're hanging out in Flagstaff after these guys all spread out, you know, and we're trying to get everything together to come back there. Ed was the guy we met in the bar one night. He kind of helped us out and brought us in, and he was a good, like, hippie friend, you know, and he actually ran sound for us for a long time, and it ended up going back to Louisville from all I know, you know, but he was a great guy, good dude. Ed Corcoran.
Ed Corcoran. Yeah. No, he was. So when I moved out there, he had been their sound guy, and then all of a sudden I got brought out there thinking I was going to be playing drums and joining the band, to being their sound guy, and he kind of shoved out of the way. So I don't think he really kind of appreciated me.
But there was one time where we stopped the bus and took a gas or whatever, and we took off and we had forgot Ed, so we're going to go back and
sound guy.
hopefully someone else can corroborate that story, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
And I want to take a minute, everybody. Right now, I want to go ahead and take a minute to be Kid Deckard. I'm really sorry. I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. Right in the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and say sorry. Sorry.
So, tell us about living in Flagstaff. Did you guys play a lot of shows while you lived in Arizona?
Yeah, we played.
Geez, that's a good question. I mean, it felt like it was probably once a week.
They probably, at our most months, I would say we played 7 or 8 shows, but some months we only played 3 or 4.
Twice a week was the goal. Yeah. Each weekend, and then sometimes you play like the offshoot, like weekday shows.
Played, at least twice a month while we were out there, and we got bar gigs and stuff in there and in Phoenix, and played a lot in Telluride too, which wasn't that far away for us.
Yeah, we played a lot of shows there. Yeah.
We didn't play a ton of shows, and the ones we did, we had to drive some distance to get there, right?
Monsoons, I think Charlie's there.
There was enough clubs in Flagstaff and Phoenix where it seemed like we were playing at least once a week, sometimes twice a week.
We could play in Colorado, we could play in Phoenix, we could play in Las Vegas, all within striking distance.
And we did some decent shows. At that time, we built a recording studio in our place that we had established. It's kind of our camp.
And we recorded the album while we were out there too. So that was a big part of going there, was like we wanted to transplant somewhere and write this album finally and record it. So we bought gear, and Cass Lippers, who's playing drums with us tonight, was not in the band, but he came out and actually engineered that whole project with us. And so we rented a house, we set it up as a recording studio.
So, when did you join Somebody?
Probably, in 2000, 2001, maybe.
What'd you do? Other bands before that?
I played the Snails. Yeah, the Snails was more. We actually had Max playing with us in that band. prior to that, you know, like high school shit.
The Arizona part.
I moved out there. So this is funny. Before they moved out there, that summer prior to, I was their sound guy, doing, you know, I'd be driving the bus, I'd help them load in, load out, do the bars, do the audio. And after a while, that, you know, they were getting ready to head out to Arizona, and I get a call from Kid after he's already kind of been established out there, and he wanted me to come out there, but he didn't want me to come out there as a audio guy. He wanted me to come out there to like play drums and like work me into playing drums with the band. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, I'll go out there and play drums, and this is what it'll be. And I move out there, ended up doing audio for him. So.
How long were you out there with him?
7 or 8 months, not a real long time.
You guys have jobs there? I didn't ask anybody else that.
We did. We had pitiful, like,
Call
little
center
telemarketing call center jobs.
Source one.
Yeah. We ended up, actually, this is an awesome story. We ended up working for this one company, and one day we go into work, and just like any other day, except our boss is just sobbing in his office. And we're like, what's going on? And the guy that was a younger guy that owned the company that evening had died. And the way he died was this: he was rich, and he had a really high-end sports car, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, whatever it may be. He got drunk at a bar and couldn't drive, and so he had another kid, I think the kid might have been underage too, that was in the car, that was zooming through these parts, like wherever they lived, and there was a hairpin where when you went off there, it actually went down into like some kind of low thing. So the kid actually didn't get the turn, jumped the car off the thing, and it went crashing down to the bottom and exploded. And that's how the guy passed away. And then the company that he worked with basically folded in like 2 weeks. And we were doing pretty well there. Like, it was a cool job. It is like he was the guy that knew everything.
The whole band.
And that was done. It was done. Like that.
You came back here?
The idea at the time was to come back and then get back in a place where we could travel shorter distances to get the shows, because in Flagstaff, like, to get to your nearest place, it was like 4 hours in the mountains. So we learned, like, you can't really get a circuit here. But then when we decided to come back, some people didn't want to come back because they didn't want to stay back west.
We are somebody. We are 21 years old today.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Today.
Oh, jeez.
That song.
It's that time. Oh!
then the band kind of reached a moment and you returned to Indiana. Let's talk about that.
I think at some point somebody left or something like that, or I don't remember how it worked out.
I wanted to stay there. That's why I, ultimately quit the band, is because they wanted to come back to Indiana. I wanted to stay in Arizona, so I stayed in Arizona for a couple of years.
And we came back originally just on a tour and we were going to move back, but then I think Matt and Corey both said that we don't want to move back. Let's just stay here. This is where all our friends are. And Matt didn't want to really be in the band anymore at that point either, so.
Yeah, I think the rest of them came back probably in July or something like that, June, July.
Kid and I drove out there and got a bunch of all of our stuff and loaded up the school bus and came back in July.
I came back.
And you came back, and soon after we just decided it was going to work.
Maybe 2 weeks. I remember it was probably August of '99. A little bit after I came back. I came back August 2nd. Well, I remember that. But August 2nd was when I came back, and then it was probably 2 weeks later. I was just like, I was living down by Cincinnati, and had a girl.
We had some, it was tough for me with Matt too, because I played with Matt in bands since I was like in high school, so Matt's my man. Like, man, if we just could have thought about it and just got in there and realized, we're not going to be staying in Lafayette that much. We're shooting out all over the place. The idea is to get out and do this. That was my idea.
But we went back and moved all our stuff back, and we moved into Indy, me and Jason and the sound guy, in a place, a really bad neighborhood too, in like a mile west of downtown. Rural Avenue. It was a pretty bad place, but we practiced there and we had some gigs lined up, but eventually I moved back to Lafayette and started going back to school, and I didn't really have time for school and the band, so I quit the band then. But that was in probably August or September of 2000.
Yeah, I don't know what, precipitated that, kind of the end of Arizona. Max probably has way more detail than I do.
We came back, we planned kind of a tour on the way back, but we didn't play many stops between Albuquerque and Indianapolis. But we played in Cincinnati and we played in Lafayette a few times and stuff, so it was kind of a mini tour, but it was fun. Got to drive across the country a couple times. Matt and Corey left the band soon after we moved back, and Adam Cass started drumming for us then.
When did you leave the band?
When did I leave the band? Somebody? I'm way too fuzzy on that. Yeah, I was there for the end of Somebody as we know it, But, we played in Truffle Bluff for a while, so we had a different keyboardist.
But in the whole process of that, there was like other bands that kind of came together out of the whole thing. And then at that point, I wanted to get another band together. And I called up Dave and Jason. Then we put together Truffle Bluff.
And Truffle Bluff played for several years, I believe.
Yeah, I think we were a band for 5 years, for a good while. We did, I think we did an EP and a full album.
And I'm trying to think. Cass was the drummer, right? Corey wasn't the drummer. Jason was with us.
Did you have a violin player?
Yeah, and then we ended up with a violin player at one point, which is kind of interesting. It's cool. He was younger, but he was very good.
When I quit, the band wasn't over. They still played for another, I want to say 4 or 5 years, maybe less, but I know that they called themselves Truffle Bluff. They changed their name, but it was still Dave and Cass and Jason They had a violinist for a while, and Pat McClymans was in the band for a bit, and Kid was in and out of that band too. And I think for a while they were even a three-piece, where it was like I saw them perform as Truffle Bluff when they were only a three-piece without even a violin, but with just Jason, Dave, and Cass. That would have been a pretty cool show to see too.
You know, what was the band like? What did it feel like? What did it smell like? You know, what did it...
I don't know. I'm unprepared to...
So we're here at Truffle Bluff tonight. It's a fitting venue. I'm sure you've played a number of shows out here.
Yeah, I think the last, actually, right about here.
I'll say, I think this served as a stage
This
for
was the
the
stage.
stage.
It's kind of set up. Understand that we're going to play on this, but it looks a little more decrepit these days.
The band.
Tell me
It went
about
through so many changes. It was, you know, each little moment is its own little thing. Like I can remember taking pictures with the first lineup with our dog, and like Hemo reading out of a Dr. Seuss book for these pictures, and we were like, oh, this is going to be brilliant. It's a great idea. It really wasn't a great idea. And you know, now that we go back and we get to play with Hemo, it's we see, you know, where each of us kind of matured to, and Hemo's a great player and we enjoy playing with him, but as far as what each point of the band was like, it's each one's different. Like I said, with Kid and Dave, you come out here to the house and it's insane. You know, every moment from that era is just foggy. It was that much fun. Then you go to Arizona and everything is pretty precise because you remember exactly what you do for that whole year because you're working to get somewhere. And then it all just kind of crumbles. So, I don't know.
I mean, I'm obviously the younger guy of the bunch, and I was, you know, I really liked the band then. I mean, it was a band that I wanted to play in, and it was kind of bummed that I couldn't play in it. So, which is why I started like doing audio with it, because it could maybe be a little closer to what they did. And I really like Dave Laramore's songs. I was a pretty big fan of those. So, you know, actually being a part of it and being in the band, it was exciting for a long time. And I still, you know, enjoy playing with the guys.
It's not a whole, I can't say this band is this or that because each era was one thing or another.
You know,
to me.
Fuckers ready?
Yep.
Alright, so let's just get to it. Tell me the Diesel story.
The Diesel story, oh shit.
The Diesel story, yeah, that's a good one.
Tell me the Diesel story.
Yeah, how did I know that was going to get brought up? I'm glad that you're going to hear it from me and not from anybody else, too.
Yeah, so we had a bus, right? And it was not a diesel bus. We were in Chicago.
We get to Chicago, play the Elbow.
We're in the middle of going through, I want to say New Mexico.
We're at, like, we got done playing the Elbow Room in Chicago.
And we got to fill the tank, so it's Max's responsibility.
Stopped and bus needs gas, so it was my turn to fill, so I filled it up.
And this asshole Max Katz, right?
That's what put diesel fuel in an engine that does not take diesel.
Literally, you open the door and it says big as shit, red letters, gasoline only. While we're asleep, fills the damn tank of this gasoline engine with diesel fuel.
Then we're to, and go to get about a quarter mile down the road, the thing starts chugging and and stuff. And
I just remember when we finally took off, there was just white smoke spewing out the back.
we had to pull over into this parking lot behind this gay bar called the Nut Bush.
I remember talking to a guy about Black Sabbath in this bar. I don't remember why. That's all I remember.
We went and had a drink because we didn't know what was wrong with it, and they looked at the receipt and it had diesel fuel on the receipt.
Dave, the guitar player, actually looked at the receipt and saw there's diesel in here.
What's going on? So like Jason said, you look at the receipt, because we keep receipts, and there's diesel. So that's not Maxwell Garvin, it's Maxwell diesel.
And there, we finally give up and we go to this neighborhood bar, you know, it's near where the bus is parked. And then I forget who bought the gas, but out came the receipt, and we're just like looking at it, and we realize on the receipt it says diesel, and that's like dawned on us.
The next day we had to figure out how to get the car running again. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, Kid wakes me up. He's like, let's solve this diesel fuel situation right now. You're coming with me. So I don't have any shoes or shirt on. I got these big orange corduroy pants on that I borrowed from Brendan Healy. So we're walking around this neighborhood, and Kid's like, why don't you go steal one of those hoses from that place, from that house, and we'll take that and decide to get the gas and then figure out a 55-gallon drum later. So I do, and then about a half a block later, this cop runs me down and pulls me over.
Where'd you guys get the hose from?
I don't know. I wasn't, like I said, when I knew that we weren't moving, I think we got a taxi and went to a bar somewhere.
Then we get caught stealing a neighbor's hose. We literally like stole someone's garden hose to siphon it, dumped it in their trash can, and got busted doing that.
Where'd you get the 50-gallon drum from?
There's things that you don't need to know. We can do all kinds of things that you got here.
And then we had to go find the 55-gallon drum. Oh, this story's good. And we go down to Jiffy Lube, which is about 15, 20 blocks away in Southside Chicago right now. And we see this worker at Jiffy Lube, and we see this drum there, and we're like, can I buy that drum from you? He's like, it's not my drum, man. I just work here. And then we're like, well, we'll give you some money for it. You don't have to tell him. He's like, well, how much? And I look at Kid, and he's like, I got $7, man. So he's like, well, whatever, sure, I'll take your $7. So he took $7, and we rolled this 55-gallon drum, another 15 blocks back north.
So they figured out. So they also went and stole a hose and a big like siphoned out like 30 gallons.
We all went to the bar while Max stayed back.
And I had to suck the siphon of gas out of the, and get to taste the gasoline and everything, put it in the drum.
He sucked all that gas out of that bus and put it in 50 gallons.
And unloaded the damn tank, literally into like garbage cans, and there it was.
Finally got it all out of there, and we can't get it started, so...
But they didn't realize it until they had tried to start it so many times they burned the starter out of the engine.
That's it. I guess that would be from trying to start a vehicle that's not going to start.
And Kid, because he was a little irritated that we had solved the gas situation so easily, decided to intentionally burn out the starter.
What did I do? I didn't do anything bad.
And all of us are telling him, hey man, don't burn out the starter. You're just turning it over for nothing. There's no gas in it. And he's like, I know what's going on. And he's doing that. And then I only know that he did it intentionally because he told me later.
No, I didn't break anything on that vehicle intentionally ever. I love that vehicle.
Yeah, I got to sit in Chicago for like 12 hours and then played watching the bus get fixed.
So then, they towed the bus out, replaced the starter. I had to pay Jason back $300, which he accepted, I believe, in $20 a month installment plan. And I eventually paid him back, but that's the diesel fuel story from my perspective. Hi, I'm Max, and you're watching The Rip-Off Show.
Hi, my name's Cass. You're watching The Rip-Off Show.
Hi, I'm Dave, and you're watching The Rip-Off Show.
Hi, I'm Jason, and you're watching The Rip-Off Show.
Hi,
I'm Kid, and I'm watching The Rip-Off Show.
You're watching The Rip-Off Show.
The story is somewhat incriminating.
Should we be rated G or?
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
So I remember definitely he got
blame it on Seth.
he got high with us. It was after the show. We were all done and we were getting ready to take off. But he was getting off the bus, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He helped us load in, and we get on the bus. And Seth He's like the David Copperfield of weed. So he does his magic.
Seth is who?
Seth Milstein. He was our guru. Yeah, he was road manager slash just everything. He was the guy. He was the dude before the guy dude. This guy he's on the couch. He's sitting, just not moving. Finally, it's like, I gotta go. He just sits back down, doesn't move. Finally, he gets up. And he's like, man, all these crazy rap beats in my head. That's bad. And just pukes at me. And he gets in his car. He's sitting there. Just looking straight out.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, here we go.
Let's cut it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? DB here from the Ripoff Show. So yeah, we're just wrapping up at the Shindig. We're here with the band Somebody. What's up, guys?
Hey,
All right, yeah. So they just got playing their 20-year reunion.
Yeah, that's it,
21.
man.
We're old enough to drink now.
All right, they're old enough to drink. Which, if you've watched this far in the video, you've probably already heard all of it.
You figured out that I could drink.
That kid can drink. Have you noticed the kid's pretty much naked?
You can do other things too.
It wouldn't be a Somebody show if you didn't see kids' balls.
Don't do it, kid.
All right, guys. So how's the show? Let's tell us a little bit about that.
It was pretty loose, man. It was fun. Yeah, I had a good
It was
time.
probably the worst show I ever played.
No, it wasn't the worst show ever.
Probably the most fun I ever had.
Yeah, most fun ever. It was great.
It was biggest crowd.
It was like,
Yeah.
I'd have to say it's
Close
the
to
worst
it.
show I ever played, plus it was a lot of fun.
I'm glad we got to play Talking Loud. I was worried about that one.
That was fun.
I was really worried. I was kind of scared, actually.
What was the best song you guys think you guys played tonight?
Kids keyboard solo. Yeah.
Kids keyboard solo.
Yeah, that was the best song ever.
It was just.
Well, that was kind of like my solo too. but-
Yeah, that's how.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Hey, here's our leader of the band.
Hey!
All right, hey, Jason, what's up, buddy? Get in here.
High
Hey,
five,
everybody,
high
look,
five.
this is Jason.
High five.
Jason's here now. Hey,
Hi.
we're all here, so we have the
Doesn't really
band.
high five.
So, Jason, what do you think of the show? How'd it go tonight?
It's over. It's 1:30.
I know you guys played for crazy long, so high five, you know. Give us some thoughts. I mean, it's been 20 years, guys. You know, we're wrapping up this little mini documentary. Come on, tell us something.
Well, I think we're going on tour. We're gonna get back together.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do regular gigs.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Leave all of our families.
Well, we got the
Do you have any management experience with bands?
Oh yeah, buddy, I'll put you out there. You'll be playing street corners and closets every night of the week.
That sounds up our alley.
Yeah, that's
You gotta start.
we're used
You
to.
gotta start somewhere.
You like getting paid in cold nickels?
It depends where they're deposited.
Oh yeah, we're putting that. All right, so 20 years, man.
Bye, kid.
There goes kid.
It's,
I think kid's gonna go poop and throw up at the same time.
Kid got the fear.
Oh god. Oh god.
he sort of bolted out of here.
I mean, I have plenty of trust in you, so I mean, I don't know what he was scared of.
Yeah, they had the fear. Easy.
He's done.
Oh shit, we're losing it. All right, guys. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to say thanks for playing.
Oh, God.
Tell us. Oh, there goes Cass. Bye, Cass. All right, guys. Any last thoughts you want to share with everybody?
Not really thoughts. There's no.
Are we coming back next year?
No.
Don't say that. This is a last show video. At least save that till after the show, after the video. All
right.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks for watching. Tell your mom I said hi.
Wow.
What a man.
Can you guys hear everything okay?
I'm gonna try some pictures.
Or should we turn something down?
Actually, what?
No.
Turn it up? Alright.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a barbell weight? You're looking for a good time, right? I need to exercise back here. Does anyone have a barbell weight? I'm trying to multitask here. Gotta take care of my reps.
Someone needs to explain this song. It turns out the kid is super important on this song.
Yes?
He's right there. Hey, kid.
He's chatting.
We got a show, man.
Kid's chatty.
This is awesome over here.
Hey, why you guys spell that?
You're very important.
You don't have to worry about playing shows all the fucking time. Come on, kid.
Kid's one of the good ones.
He is. Without question. What do we got going on here? Do it.
Yeah, as long as you can.
What is it? Right in the mic. You don't need a mic? Oh, yeah. Yell as loud as you can. What song are we playing? You'll know.
You're playing the big drum.
Yeah. What song? Darling? It's a very important song. It is. Turn it up real loud, Jason. This song in our history. I'm glad of all the songs are playing that was the word like really bolstering the most. In our history. Good idea. Guys want to fuck? Hey, guys want to fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, let's do this. Alright, here we go. Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life. The long arm of the law. Where's Kid? That's your important part, dude. This is all you, baby. Lawman is putting into my running, and I'm so far from my home. Oh, mama, I can hear you crying. You're so scared and all alone. Hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long.
you. Help me occupy my insides. Help me, got no soul to sell. Help me, the only thing that works for me. Help me get away with myself. I wanna rock you like an animal. Gravity check, says man, he lost his leg. Got his beard, many a time he's a tender, but humble by me swell design. Gravity check, the man of his word, his teeth, your face, stone, sir, don't need no pay, got a handful of pride. I signed the kids away goodbye. the asphalt hopping.